African news update on top Accolade News. From fragile power plays to cries for justice. Tonight's headlines reveal a continent wrestling with its future while holding fast to its soul. These stories are the heartbeat of nations striving, struggling, and soaring. Let's dive in. South Sudan's president reshuffles top military leadership again. Madagascar's president offers one-year ultimatum to solve nation's crisis. Morocco's health crisis sparks nationwide protests. World Bank urges Nigeria to turn economic progress into people's prosperity. We begin in South Sudan, where leadership shuffle signals deeper cracks in the nation's teetering on the edge. South Sudan's President Salva Kiir has dismissed the military chief and reinstated his predecessor, Paul Nang Majok, just 3 months after sacking him, state TV announced. They abruptly reshuffle amid renewed fighting and the treason trial of rival Riek Machar. Depends question about stability and succession in the fragile nation. With endless reshuffles and old rivals circling, Kiir's rule increasingly resembles a revolving door of power held together by loyalty, not trust. And speaking of fragile leaderships under fire, Madagascar's president is facing a storm of his own making. Madagascar's President Andry Rajoelina has pledged to step down within a year if nationwide blackouts and other crises remain unresolved amid intensifying youth-led Gen Z MADA protests demanding his resignation. Speaking at a palace forum, Rajoelina urged honest dialogue over unrest that has left at least 22 dead, rejecting accusations of repression. Yet protesters says they will not negotiate with a government that assaults and humiliates its youth. For a leader who once rose on protest flames, Rajoelina now finds himself tested by the same fire he once lit. From Madagascar's streets to Morocco's, where grief fuels a different kind of uprising. Grief and outrage are spilling into Morocco's streets as citizens join mass protests denouncing crumbling public hospitals and government neglects. From Rabat to Casablanca, demonstrators accuse leaders of investing billions in preparing to host international football tournaments, while hospitals of the dead collapse under overcrowding, understaffing, and neglect. Many are calling for the resignation of the health minister and demanding urgent reform of a system they say has abandoned ordinary citizens. With King Mohammed set to address Parliament on October 10th, the nation waits anxiously to see if his words can heal wounds that medicine and politics have long ignored. From protests over survival to Nigeria, where economic gains haven't yet reached the people struggling to live. At least 139 million Nigerians remain in poverty, the World Bank revealed in its latest Nigeria Development Update, warning that the benefits of ongoing economic reforms have yet to reach most citizens. While Country Director Matthew Verghese praised the government's bold step, fuel subsidy removal, exchange rate unification, and fiscal tightening for stabilizing revenue and reserves, he urged faster conversion of these macroeconomic gains into real welfare improvement. For millions struggling to survive, Nigeria's recovery may look good on paper, but hunger doesn't read statistics. You're watching the African News Update on Top Accolade News. Do stay with us. Still to come. Thanks for staying with us. To rising tensions in the Horn of Africa, where old wounds threaten new wars, Ethiopia has accused Eritrea of preparing for war and colluding with the Tigray People's Liberation Front to destabilize its Amara region. according to a 2nd October letter by Foreign Minister Gideon Timotheus to the UN. Eritrea, which has not responded, seized Ethiopia's Red Sea coast after independence in 1993, and their bloody 1998 to 2000 border war still haunts the region. As Addis Ababa renews its push for sea access, diplomacy teeters on the edge, reviving the ghost of a conflict neither both sides ever truly buried. Amid all this conflict, one country is looking to language, not war, to build bridges. Somalia will introduce Swahili as a national language of instruction alongside English and Arabic, President Sheikh Mahmoud announced at an East African Community Summit in Mogadishu. The move, aimed at deepening Somalia's integration into the regional bloc, joined last year, reflects Swahili's growing influence as East Africa's shared tongue. Education Minister Farah Sheki Abdulkadir said the goal is to make Swahili a language of communication, trade, and learning. In a nation rebuilding from decades of war, adopting Swahili signals not just linguistic reform, but a declaration of belonging. The next story strikes a more soulful note. Ghanaian gospel artist Sarah Sarkodie has criticized churches for what she calls the shameful neglect of their own gospel musicians while spending lavishly to invite stars from outside. She said the practice discourages young talents nurtured in local congregations and urged churches to celebrate their own. Sarkodie also reaffirmed her refusal to collaborate with secular artists, insisting her mission is a divine assignment, not a popularity contest. Promoting her new single, Abrewa Sarah, she reminds believers that delay is not denial, a message echoing both her faith and her fight for recognition. Finally tonight, the football pitch. One nation is singing victory. Egypt sealed their place at the 2026 World Cup with a commanding 3-0 victory over Djibouti in Casablanca, topping Group A with a game to spare. The Pharaohs joining Morocco and Tunisia as Africa's early qualifiers showcased their trademark composure and firepower in the pursuit of continental pride. For a nation where football is religion, Egypt's return to the world stage is more than a win. It is a restoration of destiny. From South Sudan's power play to Egypt's peach, tonight's stories remind us that Africa's journey is one of struggle, spirit, and unyielding hope. As nations rise and stumble, the human fight for dignity binds us all. Stay with us, stay informed, stay inspired. I am Ojo Romeo Kocha, and this is the African News Update on Top Accolade News, keeping you connected to the pulse of the continent.